Welcome back, everyone. My name is Mandy Mac,
And I am Cris Rivers.
and we are Pole on the Pole on the Call podcast.
Yeah.
Today, we are so excited to be here interviewing our next pole studio and getting a tour of Real Pole Dance Studio.
Yes. We got to work on that.
I know. In Billings, Montana, right?
Yep.
Ah, excellent. We're here with owner Cody and Christy.
Excited to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for taking time out and being here to show us around your studio and talking a little bit more about being a studio owner, your team, philosophies, life outside of pole if there is, etc.
Yes, there is. Yeah, there's a lot, but no, we're closed today, so it is a very convenient day for an interview since we don't have a lot of traffic going in and out.
Oh, nice. Do you have set days off or what are your classes like?
Yeah, so I'm only open 4 days a week right now because currently I work another job to help kind of support this place because we're new. We just opened in October. And so, yeah, I work on the weekends. I work as an exotic dancer. So I work Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and those are the days the studio are closed. And then Christy works her other job. She's a hairstylist during the day and then comes in and teaches classes about here and there.
Yeah. I'm like the sub, like the student and the teacher.
She's my backup because unfortunately I'm a one-woman army. And Christy's certified. She knows all my lesson plans. So that's about how we do it is I do open pole all day long and then I throw in at least 2 classes are open a day currently. And then when I'm gone, Christy's here. So
yeah, I love your conditioning classes. Those are probably my favorite. I look forward to pole conditioning more than any other conditioning.
That's a surprise. Hey, Tiff. Oh, you're a sweet.
We're trying to get a laptop charger. I think we'll be okay though.
This is Tiffany. This is the gal that helped me get all of this started, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
My mentor and savior. I actually rent from her, and she was rescuing me because I couldn't find my computer charger today.
You're like, no.
Too funny.
That's okay. Thank you so much, Tiff. Yes, I'll see you later. I totally forgot. I told her to just come on in.
No worries.
Yeah, that would be my mentor. She owns multiple businesses, including the wonderful space we rent from. So, bless Tiffany.
Yeah, that's awesome. So was it easy to find the space because she was there for you, or?
It took me a long time, actually. I'd been looking and looking. We both worked at a different studio in town, and they let us sneak in pole when we could, but it wasn't working. And so
it doesn't share a space well.
Yeah,
pole. Like it's nice to have a just
a pole space. Yeah,
you were looking for like a year for like the right building.
And then this building itself is owned by the gal who owns the gym I go to. And she's actually the one who introduced me to Tiffany and was like, hey, Tiff has fitness spaces that she leases out. And so that's how I met Tiffany, was through the gal that owns the gym I go to. And that's how I found my space. Yeah.
That's perfect.
So it was like meant to be. It just happened.
Yeah, totally. It fell right into when you found the space. I feel like everything started falling into place.
It was so helpful. And then like Tiffany has been super helpful because this is my first like legal business I've ever owned. I do like hobbies on the side, but yeah, I've never ran like a full business. So Tiffany has been amazing through every step. If I ever have questions or something, I can literally ask Tiffany anything. She's been there, she's done that, she knows.
That's perfect. It's so important to have someone like that for sure. So I think a lot of us, we're like, oh, I know how to dance and I love this thing and I want to open a studio, but I don't know anything about business at all.
my college experience didn't prep me for running a business. I went to college for athletic training, and I worked as a trainer and an athletic trainer, but I've always worked for somebody else. So I had no idea about the business side. Mm-hmm.
Right,
Did you find at least the athletic training help in the pole dancing side besides the business side?
Yes, it does actually. I'm a very picky trainer. I prefer working strength and form over anything. And I think that does come from my athletic training background is I don't want injuries. I want that prevented at 100% rate. And so I treat my dancers just like I do my athletes. So we go through extensive warm-up routines, stretching. I try to sneak in as much education as possible. So explaining what muscles are working in each pose and things like that. So I definitely mix it.
You do break down anatomy, I feel like, more than any other studio I've been to. Like I'll hear something in class and I'll go to another workout class. Like let's say we're doing oblique crunches and I'll be like, all right, tuck that core. Like just because you'll be like, don't arch, this is why. So yeah.
So I think it comes in handy a lot, especially because that's, I think, missing a lot for a lot of dancers is they don't know their anatomy or their structure or what's going on in their body.
We talk all the time about people who just like kick up into their, outside leg hangs or whatever. And that looks great for one move. But if you don't have that core strength, you've got limited amount of time that you're going to be upside down doing cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. And rates of injury with lack of control. Yeah. I think it blends perfectly.
I love that. That's awesome. That's cool that you found a way to connect that and help the students.
Yeah. And then I'm a big supporter of using fitness as a tool to help excel. Like a lot of my athletes, my swimmers do weightlifting. I like my dancers to do weightlifting. I like supplementary fitness. So I try to sneak that in as I educate my dancers too, is so that when they roll up in the gym or if there's a pose they want to, but they don't have the strength for it yet or whatever, they have the tools to be able to build that to help work towards those goals. Because I don't think just being on the pole, like a lot of my dancers are multi-sport people. So I like to encourage that and give them the tools in everything I can, not just in the studio, but also in the gym.
That's awesome. So you do way more than just the exotic dancing on the weekend and pole dancing. You're working with athletes and all that.
I think all dancers are athletes. I don't think we're given enough credit to how powerful and how amazing our bodies are. And to get on a pole first off and twist yourself around it, that's every muscle in your body firing. And I don't think people realize how hard pole is.
Exactly.
Right. Awesome. Sometimes you have to rearrange your inside.
Literally.
That's your
place my ribs over here.
Move this entire organ.
Right, like just move it over a little bit.
Please tighter. Use your organs to hold on.
She's definitely the relatable one. I gotta remember to bring myself down a notch and quit nerding out.
My gosh, I appreciate that though. Like sometimes the overload of information is good because then the student can either like choose, when they want to zone in and out. But occasionally they'll learn something. And it's good that all of the good information is being spread.
My goal in the long run is to create independent athletes. So I try to sneak all that information in, and I see it every day in my conditioning classes. The girls know their warm-up routines. They know how to adjust it to their bodies, how to change reps, and that's what I really want in the long run is people who don't need to zombie listen to me. I want them to learn how to listen to their bodies and work accordingly. And I see it every day. Every day they come, every day they put something new into the routine. So some of my gals know that during warm-ups, if 10 reps is not enough for them, they don't even have to ask. They just keep going or they change to an exercise that works for them. And that is what I like to see.
That's awesome. Yes. Right. I know for my body, I have the hypermobility and I need as many instructions as possible so I can keep my body safe.
Yeah. You and me both. I am also hypermobile.
Those splits look amazing though. When you're hypermobile, those splits, like, that's so pretty.
Right, it does look really good, but then, yeah.
Yep, got to keep those joints safe and those tendons.
Yeah.
I'm getting with my shoulders. I have been very unsafe many times and have risked the consequences of my mobility.
But you've nursed it back to health for as many times as I've seen you dislocate your shoulder in the last like 2 years. You nurse it back to health every time. And it sounds horrible, but she really, like 2 or 3, is it 3 times? At least 2.
It's been 2.
But you always are like nursing it, and then you're always working to be like, all right, I got to train this side instead. So
yeah. That's I'm guilty of slacking and then having to get back on the grind again, because I am definitely prone to dislocation, especially my shoulders, that hypermobility, getting a little too loose in there.
And it's so
I feel that too.
When you like love something so much and you're like, oh, I'm injured. It's like, oh, what can I do? Like, how much can I be on this thing without moving this body part?
Yeah, I'm guilty of that, being a little too much, overworking. I'll admit I really can't feel my arms much today. Oh my God. And I have to go to work tonight, which means I'll be pole dancing for 8 hours tonight.
Oh my gosh. I was just about to ask you, how many hours a week do you think that you are active in pole dancing and teaching?
Oh, so the nice thing about open pole is I don't often teach during open pole. So that's like normal gym hours where people come in and out and do their own thing. And I'm just here just to be here. So I only teach, well, then I teach privates throughout the day. So I'd say I teach every day about 4 hours, 5 hours on a normal day. Where I'm teaching, but I don't have to get on the pole too much during that time. And then on the weekends, I pole dance. My shifts are 8 hours, so I'm on and off the pole like at least once an hour. So that's about 3 days a week. I can't do the math.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so that's the pole time. And then I do work out in the gym. At least 2 hours a day, at least. I try to switch it up and rotate my muscle groups so that I don't beat myself up too much. But yeah, I'm a pretty big busy bee. I'm very wiggly. I don't sit still well.
You definitely pole more than like I can even imagine. So like I'm pretty much strictly 6 hours a week of pole. It's always in the studio. I'm either taking or teaching class. And then outside of here, I teach Legree and I take Legree. So I'll do
Legree is hard.
Yeah, Legree is hard. Have you guys heard of Legree?
What is
it's
Legree?
It's a good combo with pole, but it's all core stuff. So I'm doing that 3 to 4 hours a week, and then the gym 3 to 4 hours a week. So I would say I'm active at least 2 hours a day, at least 6 days a week.
That is awesome. That keeps us young for sure.
Keeps me. Something's always sore on me. I will admit that something is always sore.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel that for sure. But I love the open pole, because I did see that on your schedule on your website, because we also have like open pole situations at our studio, and I was wondering if you could just describe how you run that, and if it's like hourly or.
So I have my set hours a day, but it's like a normal gym where you just walk in and like, I don't have a key fob. I'm just here keeping track of that, but you can come in at whatever time during that time, and then you can stay as long as you want. People just pay a monthly reoccurring fee for that, and they get to treat it like a normal gym. So as long as it's within those hours, you're free to come in. You can come in for 30 minutes. You can come in ping pong throughout the day. Yeah, it's pretty open, and I just have that because I have some higher level athletes or just people who want to do their own thing can come in and work on whatever they want, however they want.
I feel like it's good too for those people. Like I'm like this where, okay, I'm kind of learning a move. I kind of know it, but I don't want to practice it in front of people right now because I look really awkward or I want to like scream. And so I can come in, do it, and work on my own thing. And if there's someone there, they don't really know what we're working on. So it's a nice way when you're kind of in between wanting to be part of the community and wanting to see your pole friends. And also sometimes like that self-discovery that happens when you're on the pole, discovering your body, getting through the mental headspace. Like if a move makes me mad, I'll probably practice it on my own and open pole and come back next week and see you guys then.
That's right. I do feel like the open pole is almost a necessary tool for students who are learning, especially because sometimes the things move too fast in the class, and then like you'll forget what happened. Yeah. Or for me, I always hate like when the teacher is like staring at me. I'm like, no, I need to like go in the corner.
You gotta find something.
Is that how, like, do you guys do yours with bookings?
We do, but it's only an hour session. But I like how you have the multiple hours where people could just come in at any time. Yeah, because it's less pressure.
Like a gym. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, good idea.
And my gym happens to be downstairs too, so if there's no one up here, I'll just put a sticker on the door that says "Call me, I'm downstairs if you need me." The door locks. Yeah, so I often can get away with going to get my own workouts during the day during that time, so I like how relaxed it is. That no one's on a timer, no one's I like it that way.
Though, you might hate that. What if we get so popular and you're like, dude, I never get to work out? Because
then I'm gonna just have to go back to working out before class. I'll just have to get up just a little bit earlier or before I have to come into the studio.
Oh my gosh. Right, like everything changes all the time. That's why I always say, like, in the studio life, like the only thing that stays the same is the changing of everything.
Ooh, I like that.
Gotta be flexible. I would love to have it someday where I can, when I hire, of course, Christy's not technically an employee, but I do pay her when I need her. Yeah, unfortunately, since my studio is brand new, we've just started breaking even, which is super exciting.
That's so fast, though. You've only been open like 3 months.
I know, so I was shocked.
That's amazing.
Like, okay.
Yes.
But yeah, eventually I would love to be able to hire someone else. So being able to team, so I wouldn't be the only one running open pole. So I could flip flop. Maybe someone teaches morning classes and then does the morning open pole and then I switch them out kind of thing. So then I'd have a little bit more freedom myself.
For sure.
That's awesome. I always want someone here during open pole though, just in case anything happens or someone needs a spot. Yeah.
For safety, you have to have someone there.
Yeah,
so
probably
maybe
pay for insurance too.
yeah, for insurance. All the paperwork stuff, the things that
everyone does sign their lives away to me, but I would rather just prevent any of that in the first place. So maybe someday I'll be able to hire someone or just someone to run open pole, and I only teach classes. Who knows? We'll see.
I love that. I can't wait to learn what happens. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So what made you want to open a pole studio?
Well, I always knew I liked teaching and I liked coaching. I knew that from a pretty young age. I got the opportunity to coach different teams through high school. So I got to coach kids volleyball and I got to coach water aerobics and I really loved it. So I knew that was the industry I was going to go into. And then I had a background in dance, but it was never a big focus because I had scholarships for college with sports and all that. And so dance got put on the back burner, but I accidentally became a stripper my freshman year of college. I didn't intend to. I had no idea I was going to end up there. I didn't even know Montana had strip clubs. I grew up in a little farm town way up north. It just never occurred to me that Montana had a strip club, even one. So I accidentally ended up becoming a stripper and I fell in love with pole dancing. I always battled that. I was like choosing athletics or choosing dance. And I always had to choose whichever one was going to be a better career. So it was athletics. But when I found pole dance, it was the most perfect blend of both, where I still got to study athletics and hold those foundations, but then I got the expression of dance and the storytelling and the creativity. and it clicked immediately. And I was like, I freaking love this. I'm addicted. Honestly, that's what's kept me stripping all these years. Is the money's okay here in Montana. We're not getting rich, but I love being on stage. I love dancing. And I started teaching privately a couple years after starting, but I really sunk in and just like buried my nose into pole dancing, studied it as much as I could. I was breaking down the moves into muscle groups and translating it into the gym.
How did you get contact with Charlie? Like, how did you start being the Billings pole teacher? I don't even remember. Charlie just brought you one day.
Yeah, I did circus. And one of my girlfriends who dabbles in pole a little bit knew Charlie, and she had called Elizabeth to teach. And Elizabeth isn't comfortable with teaching. She doesn't know that much about pole. So Elizabeth called me and sent me over to Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that is how I started teaching at that other studio, because I was still teaching privately then.
Yeah, but I feel like once you started teaching at Limber Tree, people started knowing you as the pole person. You were like the pole, like she was like, because that was the space, right, where it was yoga and silks and pole here and there and just stuff. And Cody was just she would come, rock our worlds, and then she would start planting the seeds, like, we really need like a space for pole. And I feel like people started like gravitating to you. Yeah. Cody's like the pole cult leader. We're like, yes, let's do it.
I'm building an army here in Montana.
For sure.
Actually, I have one of my girlfriends that used to dance with me. I'm helping her start up a studio in another town right now. She just started this week. So we're building, Laura is down in Bozeman, and she had been wanting to for a long time, so we've been coordinating on that too. So we're building an army of pole dancers in Montana. We're gonna get there.
Yeah. I love that.
I love it.
I mean, that is ultimately the goal, to because everybody, I feel like, especially in the US, there's such a stigma, which sucks, because I mean, stripping's awesome. I mean, I was a stripper. Someone's got to do it. Exotic dancing, all of it, burlesque, like it. But pole dancing, I feel like so many people, and especially in certain states, they don't get it. They don't understand. It's fitness. It's life changing. It really helps with trauma at times and helps people accept themselves and love themselves.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps. Yeah. Everything. That's so everything. People don't understand how therapeutic it really is and how empowering.
I love that y'all changing Montana.
Yes. Right. Are you the only pole studio in the area, or what does it look like for the pole community out there? Is it far apart, or?
On technicalities, I am the only studio. The studio we used to work at still has a gal who's running their pole classes. But so far we have not struggled with like competition wise. The gal who teaches at the other studio, she's still new to pole herself. So I'm about it. We're just building a pole community.
Billings is, out of all the cities in Montana's pretty conservative, right? So going back to what Kiss was saying before, Billings is like the most conservative city in Montana. So we deal so much with girls being interested in pole, but being so scared that, are they going to think I'm a stripper now? And like, I kind of feel like if people would just take the word stripper out of it in our area, at least, and just make it be dancer, it be like, performer.
It's getting better. There's 2 other studios in Montana currently. There's one in Missoula, and then actually my older sister lives in Kalispell, and she started they just opened one in Kalispell.
Cool.
So my older sister does pole too. She's been in the strip club one time to watch me, which scared the living life out of me. I was like, oh my God, am I about to get disowned? But my sister absolutely fell in love with pole dance too. And so she really enjoys it, but she goes to a studio in Kalispell. So we're all pretty new. I think the oldest one is the one in Missoula. And hopefully soon with my friend Laura, there might be one in Bozeman, but yeah, we're scattered. So there really isn't a lot of competition. It's more like family at this point.
Yeah.
So like I've been in contact many times with the Kalispell studio because they bounce with my sister. and we've talked about doing showcases together. And like when I'm there, I help out when I can, when I'm up in Kalispell. I would love to. They invited me to do a showcase piece one time, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make it up there for that. But yeah, it's not really competition at this point, I think, because we're such a small community.
I love that. Still kind of close-knit, which is awesome. We can help each other grow.
Yes, 'tis the goal. 'Tis the goal.
So speaking of showcases, I know you're a new studio. Do you plan on having one soon? Ooh, the tour.
I hate showcases. She's always trying to get us to do it. I'm not competitive. I don't even know why. I mean, I'm clammy thinking about a showcase. Just thinking about it. My hand, I'm like, I'm gonna fall right off that pole.
Not yet. I do have the girls do competitions, or I encourage them to. Because we're so remote from anywhere, we do pole sport organizations online competitions predominantly. So the girls get to come in and record them. Yes, I love pole sport organizations. They're so cute. I even have some of their medals in here from my competitions. Eventually, as the community grows, I would love to do like a big, maybe Miss or Mr. Pole Montana, and have like do a big pole competition where I coordinate with all the other pole studios in Montana and do something fun like that. But right now the community is still pretty small. So I think we need to grow a little bit more before I put on something that big. But I do encourage the girls to start learning how to put together routines and feel confident showing them, especially with us. So when we record for those competition nights, I make a party out of it. So I'm like, please invite your friends to come watch. We all do our makeup together. The studio's open for them, and we will record it and cheer each other on as many times as we need. Because I myself perform like crap if it's just me and like two people, but you give me a crowd, I thrive on crowd energy.
It's that energy, yeah.
I love crowds. I lose all sense of like fear or anything. So we're slowly getting there. I think the onlines are really great for people who want to start competing or dancing publicly and showcasing what they've learned, but are still kind of not ready. So I really recommend pole sport organizations online competitions. And they do a showcase category where it's not judged and it's not
that's what she's always trying to get me to do. Yeah. She's like, dude, there's no judgment. And I'm like, I don't know, I can't.
That one is just purely a showcase where they're just like, they're really great about the pole community coming together. So if you don't want to compete, but you still want to show off a routine, they have that option too.
Yeah, that's beautiful that you're still participating in PSO. That's amazing.
Yeah. I can't even imagine not being near one. Like that sucks.
I know.
Oh yeah, we're far from everything. If PSO, if you're listening to this,
right?
Come on.
Come here.
Too funny.
We can make the drive to Denver from here. Yeah. We'll take turns driving.
Too funny. I know. Sometimes like even driving to Boston from here is like 2 hours, and I'm like, fuck my life. So I can't even imagine like how far you have to travel.
Right.
That's I feel like we're pretty used to it by now. I think because Montana's so spread apart that we just
do everything. Let's take a weekend to do it.
We do it all the time. Yeah, bounce over to the hot springs, or we do pop over to Denver.
We shouldn't tell them how much free time we have out here. That's one benefit. Is like we have a lot of free time out here.
Good try.
That is one of the questions.
Is it?
Funny.
Do you have any free time?
Yeah, that's
it's like the kind of free time where you're like on your phone doing work while you're and so I don't know.
I don't remember the last time I took a vacation, but yeah, I do know a lot of my friends they'll take the weekend off, and it's no biggie to drive over to the hot springs or drive down to Denver. I definitely do not have that freedom yet, but someday. Someday.
I'll say like the first year when we had our studio and I had a partner and she went away for like 3 months and I took over all of her classes. Don't do that.
Oh my God.
Give yourself a vacation too. Yeah, give yourself a vacation too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hopefully soon I'll be able to.
Yeah.
My goal is to stop working at the club, which has nothing to do with the club, but just like I would like more time to myself. But since it is currently my financial support, unrealistic, but sometimes I'll sneak a night off, or like I took Christmas off and stuff. So we try. I took New Year's off too, but I did a triathlon.
Oh my God.
I did an indoor triathlon on New Year's, so what a day off. I had to work the night before and then got up in the morning for that. It was not a smart idea. I don't recommend it. I did not survive it.
I told you not to go. Because like sleep, dude.
No sleep. My poor boyfriend gets drug along for all of this too. He's like my momager. He's packed my bags, and I just have to roll out of bed and get in the car, and he takes me to all of my adventures. But that was my day off, was an indoor triathlon, which I was so not prepared for.
Someone used to tell me do it now when we're young.
I was gonna say you should do it when you're young. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that was I was so mad at my boss too. I told him not to schedule me the night before, and what did he do? Scheduled me the night before, and I was like,
no.
"Bro, do you know what do you know what I have signed myself up for in the morning?" I was like,
my legs,
my arms, my legs, my sleep. Yeah.
no. Oh
I'm in my 30s. So this is way past. I could never do the double shift, just working out for 16 hours straight. I'm good.
I will admit.
I was like, wow, there was a time when I could, but not anymore.
Not anymore. No, you couldn't pay me any amount of money to do that.
Like that was a lot. That was fun though.
Yeah, usually when
Good
I take a
times.
vacation, it's because I signed myself up for something like that. So I don't know if that counts as a vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
I think planning the rest is so hard, but it is really important.
It is really hard. Definitely I need to focus more on that. That's part of my New Year's resolution, to treat my body a little more like an athlete. I need to definitely feed it more, because I do not eat enough for all of the crazy activities I put myself through. But then also having that like mentality where I'm like, I need to take care of this flesh bag I live in, which means taking rest days and not overworking myself.
Right. It's so hard. Like you said, it's your source of income. So you feel like super obligated to just like push through. But yeah, as we all know, sometimes the body tells us when it's time to stop if we don't listen.
I'll admit I probably will not be doing any big fancy pole moves at work tonight. I'm cut off. I can't do it. It's gonna be a floor work night.
I love
Yes.
it. Oh my God, floor work is my fave.
Yes.
I had to learn to love it. I did not like to put my feet on the ground, but as my arms realized they couldn't hold up with the torture, I had to embrace floor work.
Same. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. I feel like this has been more like a conversation. I don't know what questions we've asked, but we've definitely looked at a lot.
I think we should go through the tour, if that's okay.
I was just about to say, yes, the tour. I'm excited.
Okay, bear with me. I have a little microphone attached. I don't know if that helps for sound, but
Does that help?
It
did it work?
Yeah, it did.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Do you want me to hold the laptop and I'll try and find you?
Need my microphone. So it's meandered this way. So we're a small studio, so I only have 5 poles. That big boy is the instructor's pole, obviously. That's only for me.
Wait, here, let's get closer. Wait, so it's not actually a pole, it's a beam.
It's just a beam, but
Let's see demos on it.
it is my pole. It is the instructor's pole.
I've never seen a pole like that before. You described.
It's just a support beam, but it's right in the middle of the room.
That's really helpful, though. No.
Yeah, this whole room is all mirrors except for this beautiful mural over here, which is actually painted by a friend of mine many years ago, because she's friends with the owner of the building, painted this mural, and then we met in the gym like 2 years ago, or maybe a year ago, somewhere in there. But just ironic that I happen to have my friend's art in my pole studio itself.
That's beautiful.
I love that.
Is it a specific
And
scene that is outside, or is it just a creation of a road and a mountain? It's beautiful.
Oh, that's the landscape in Montana. That's just anytime you leave Billings, you have to see that to go anywhere.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
it's pretty accurate of a Montana landscape. I think she made that one up. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask Nicole, but she's an amazing artist. I have a little equipment over here in the corner. So in here, my students always have, there's a little bucket of clean rags and rubbing alcohol spray. And then I have a dirty rag basket. So every time everyone comes in, they can grab their own rag. And when they're done with their class or their session, they just throw it in the dirty basket. And then I provide crash mats, yoga blocks, resistance bands are my absolute religion.
Yeah.
I can't do I can't go anywhere without resistance bands. They've got to be a must. So I have all of that, and that is open to all of my clients. Whether you're doing open pole or you're in class, you have unlimited access to all of that.
I love that you also have them on a coat hanger.
Yeah,
like, that's brilliant.
Right? Oh my God. So
I was just thinking that. I was like, that is genius.
Yes,
Since the room is all mirrors except for the mural, I didn't have a way to hang them, and I didn't want them just laying on the floor like a sad mess of snakes. So I put them as on a little cheap coat hanger. And then I have my little work desk over here where I have pole grips. We can meander this way too.
we're doing good.
Yeah, look at us. I'm also a weirdo. I don't sit on chairs, so I literally just have a yoga ball that lives in this room. So I train on it. I also sit on it. But yeah, this is where I keep everything, where we've got stickers, pole grips. I keep my cleaners, and I try to keep it looking cute. Those are fake plants because we have no sunlight in here.
No sunlight.
Yeah, so I have fake plants instead of real ones. And I can show you what the lobby looks like. So Tiffany owns what's called Vim Collective. So this out here is a shared space with a bunch of other businesses. So I get this really cute lobby, and there's like coffee and tea around the corner, and a bath and like bathrooms. And then all these other rooms are for rent, which is so cute. So we have this cute, it's ballroom, yoga, breath work, all sorts of stuff in here, and all sorts of other offices. So it's really nice to be able to connect with other business owners. So I know a lot of other fitness teachers, massage therapists. It's a nice little family in here. There's belly dancing too. So my room stays just mine, but the other ones are for rent by the hour. So we have a lot of assortment, which I think is really great for the community itself. Because, of course, a lot of my pole dancers really want to do belly dancing or ballroom or yoga. So they literally have it all in one building.
Yeah. And then there's always something new going on, too. That's brilliant.
Always. It's kind of like a little team or family here. So I don't feel very alone. This room itself may be mine, but yeah, I have tons of other business-minded people and teachers and fitness and dance enthusiasts just surrounding me. So it's really nice that we get to share and chit chat, and I love it.
Yeah. And how tall are the ceilings in the pole room?
They're kind of short. Someday we would love to find a space with taller ceilings, but what are these like?
Maybe like 8 feet.
8 feet? I think
maybe
a little taller.
You think they're not 7, but they're not 9.
Yeah, they're kind of short.
Yeah, they're kind of short.
We were spoiled. The last studio we were at, we had 2 really long or super tall poles in there.
God. What, you think that was like 12 feet high?
They were tall, and I love it. But in here, yeah, we have don't mind what I have done to the ceiling. Those open spaces, it's a drop down ceiling. And I just moved the squares out of the way so I could put the poles to the ceiling. and then lazily forgot to put them back.
How tall are your guys' poles?
Yeah.
How tall
I
are
would
your
leave
guys'?
them out too, just to like, because you got to check them and stuff, and moving them back and forth.
Yeah.
I would be like, no, thank you. Just leave them
Yeah.
off.
Surprisingly, a lot of studios do that. It really makes it bigger and easier for it. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, someday we'd love to remove the drop-down ceiling. Tiffany and I discussed it. We do a lot of DIY. Like Tiffany and I repainted the room, and then her husband honestly did most of the floors for us because we were like, oh, my knees, my back, help. But we've talked about taking down the drop-down ceiling just to give a little bit more of a visual and like just those couple extra inches. But we were so excited to open. We were like, we'll worry about it next summer.
Yeah.
We'll
Right? Like phase 2, phase 3.
yeah, we'll take a weekend off, and then we'll try to be DIY queens and take it down ourselves.
Right?
So
Like
there's a couple extra inches under there, but
yeah, it takes so long to find a space anyway. Like you just make it work no matter what has happened. Yeah.
And most of my students aren't they're not too concerned about the height of the ceilings yet. They're perfectly content with being pretty low. Someday I'd love to expand to taller poles, but right now it's really not affecting anything.
Yeah.
I think I'm really the only one who complains about it because I like to be up high.
Oh, not me. I'm a ground dweller, so I prefer.
Same.
Yeah, I like the height too.
The low flow.
Low flow.
I like to hang out at the top of the pole like a weird gargoyle, just staring down at people.
Yes.
I'm like, how sexy can I be on the floor? Like, how much can I be on the floor?
Are your poles 45 millimeter, or are they a mix, or what type of poles do you have?
They're all 45 because that's like standard competition size. And then I have them all chrome finish. I've thought about getting some different finishes. 2 of the poles actually aren't mine. The stage poles are a friend of mine because I'm still a new business and only had so much money to start with. And I bought the 3 poles, and now those are also 45 and stainless. But I've really thought about when I buy the permanent poles to go in, I've debated on, should I get some different finishes for other people, or
just not silicone? I heard silicone tears your skin up.
I have my flying pole for my circus performances is silicone, and yeah, that thing will burn you. But I've heard people have like allergies and stuff to certain metal finishes. So
that's a good point.
I was the chrome allergy, and then I was worried of the silicone poles as well because I had never tried one, and then I visited Studio Chrome and they had one there, and I kind of liked it. And then some students were saying, because some students are really sweaty too, and they were like, oh, if you ever got a silicone pole, I would love that. So like it made me think about it.
You didn't tear your skin up?
Well, I mean, I kept my clothing on when I tried it, of course.
Okay.
But I
get a little too wild on mine, and I have burned the living crap out of myself, even with my clothes on, because I got it predominantly because it's a flying pole, so I wanted a little more security, not to slip myself right off the bottom. But also for circus, I sometimes have different costumes and things, so that gave me more options for clothing wear too. But yeah, definitely, I think silicone burns the crap out of your skin. Like, you don't need a waxer when you've got silicone. I have permanent bald spots on my body where like baby hair won't even grow anymore because it's been burnt off and rubbed off so many times by the silicone. Also, cleaning the silicones is a little more work. So I think that's also
about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I use silicone adult toy cleaner on mine.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because it's like the same material. So that's what I use on mine. It's in my circus bag, and it's so funny. The first time I pulled it out in front of my circus troupe, when we first got it, they were like, "What is that?" And I was like, I just got it from Adam and Eve, but it's cleaner. So yeah, I take it and like clean it with a rag. So that's, I think, one of the bigger reasons I won't have silicone in my studio itself is just because cleaning it is a bit more of a hassle than just straight like rubbing alcohol on a rag. But yeah, a different metal finish would definitely. Have you guys ever done powder coated poles?
No, that's the one I haven't tried yet, though. Yeah.
I have not.
I don't even know how you would clean that one. I've never used one or seen.
Because your skin cells would just get all.
I know, that's what I'm afraid of too. Like it tears and you don't know what's on there. How do you clean it and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was like, I don't know if it's the same as like the powder coating spray you put on. Like one of my friends just got a new unicycle and he paints them with like a powder coated paint. And I was like, is that the same stuff that they put on the powder coated poles? I don't know.
I've actually never heard of those until just now.
Yeah.
These are the questions studio owners have. We want to know.
We need to know.
That's that X-Pole.
Clean your poles.
Yeah, X-Pole needs to give me like samples of the different textures.
Right? Right, because yeah, we don't know what how does everyone know what they're buying?
Yeah.
They just buy them and try them out. They're so expensive.
Yeah, one of my girlfriends has a brass pole, so I've been on brass, and she's such a goofball. She does she's so scared to ruin the finish, so she uses like Brasso, like the brass polisher on it. But my question is how do we sanitize that? But I've my other friend, I've used brass. Our pole at work at the club is brass. So we've always just used rubbing alcohol on it and it's been fine. But she's such a goofball. She uses literal brass polisher on it. And I was like, okay, I guess. But yeah, I've thought about grabbing some brass because I'm willing to clean them with rubbing alcohol. I've not seen too much of an issue with that and the finishes and like hurting it at all. But that's been something to consider for my next poles I buy, is if I should get some different finishes on it, mostly because of allergies.
Since you're a new studio, do you offer just in-studio classes or do you offer online? Do you have workshops?
How does that go? Break into online. That's been thrown at me for many years as a trainer too, offering training online. But unfortunately, I am so behind the times. Like this is technically like I had an old dinosaur laptop for college that someone's grandma had gifted me and I barely knew how to use it. And then I bought this one for business and I'm still learning. So I have not yet tech savvy enough, I think, to offer online properly. But when I do, I totally will. Because there's a lot of people, especially in Montana, who are remote. Like I have tons of friends I grew up with in my small communities and they're buying poles and things like that. And they're like, I want to learn. But obviously we don't even have a grocery store near us. Like there's a small one with maybe 3-4 aisles now. So access to anything is like impossible. So I would love to eventually offer that, especially for remote people. But yeah, currently I'm still learning how to make TikToks. So bear with me someday. So yeah, currently I only offer in-person classes.
I love it. I mean, one day at a time. It's definitely a learning process every day.
I think I accidentally oh, okay.
Again, don't worry.
You're back again. Sorry about that. But I was going to mention too, in the future, if you did offer, it would be cool because you have the shorter poles, which most people do at home. So it would be just perfect for everyone at home. Yeah.
I know.
Because I know for me, it's hard to like modify classes for people at home. You have to like tell them to like shimmy down and do it again.
Stay low. When I taught from my home studio privately, I can stand barefoot and lay my hand flat on my ceiling. And then my living room was really small. So it wasn't a living room. It was my pole studio. I didn't have a TV or anything in there. I had a pole in the middle of the room and like some dumbbells and stuff. So I'm pretty used to teaching in that confined space. I do love more room, but yeah, I'm pretty well versed with that, with figuring out what you can and can't do in a small space and try not to, kick the cat tree or kick a couch.
Yeah, there's so many ways to get around it. Definitely work with what you have. I had the same issue. My pole from home wasn't high, but I mean, you can still do a circus climb, slide yourself down and do it and it's still conditioning. There's so many ways.
Yeah, I mostly used my pole at home for my own conditioning because of those limits, but especially for beginners or someone just looking to keep it low, it works perfectly. Yeah, definitely. Any pole tumbling on a short pole, but
it's slow motion.
I love it.
So what type of classes do you offer? Do you have like dance type of classes? I know you mentioned a conditioning one.
Yes. So I have my classes broken into two categories. I have my fitness classes and then I have my dance classes. Right now, since I'm still a one-woman show, I only offer one from each category. So I have my conditioning class where we focus on strength training predominantly with pole in mind. So all of my exercises are based off of muscle building, strength building. So I convert it a lot and explain it like with the bands. We do like flat arm pull downs and all sorts of things. And I teach the girls as we go. I was like, hey, you can also do this on a cable machine in the gym or all this. And then we also do a lot of exercises itself on the pole modified with like pole in mind. So that is what the conditioning classes are like. So I'm not going to make you sprint. We're not focusing on a high heart rate. We're focusing on building those muscles. And then I do what I call combos class, where I pick normally, and I do those by level. So right now we only have level 1 until I get my level 2ers back up to, they've been re-practicing their skills since the studio opened. But yeah, I pick 2 to 3 different poses themselves. And then we break it down and learn each of them. And then we put them together and learn how to transition between them. And I leave that a little bit like a free for all. So if one move's got you stumped and you want to sit and maul on that move for the rest of class, that's fine. If you're just eating it up and want to just go to town on that combo and perform it, please do. But yeah, that's normally how combos go. So over time, you get to learn different moves and add them to your repertoire. So sometimes you might be introduced to a new one, or other days it might be moves you already know, but in a combination you didn't think to put them.
I love that. So you can like choose your own adventure.
Yes. And sometimes like those, I sell these little booklets that I get off of Amazon, and they're the Pole Dance Wow catalogs. They don't have every move humanly possible, but they have a pretty good array. So as my students learn moves, they can mark it off in their books. So then like we'll play games like random number generator, where we'll let the computer pick numbers and then we'll pull those moves and force it to happen, because sometimes they do not blend well. But we do fun stuff like that too. So combos is pretty much just, making combinations.
Or when we get there, I like to do like freestyle. And I think that's a lot of where people choke up, because that's when you start to like see yourself in the mirror and, why do you not look like that? So that is kind of, I know like her classes, if I need her to fill in for her, but like when it comes to like just moving on the pole, that's kind of something that really appeals to me. Like just move to feel good, and maybe even don't look at yourself in the mirror.
I would like to add those in, because there's some classes both of us used to teach at our old studio that we currently don't teach. I used to teach mobility and flexibility classes. Where the goal was teaching us the different styles of stretching and how to do it and different exercises to work towards those goals, because flexibility and pole really do go together. And then Christy used to teach a lot of her, I would say, more dance styled, where there's pole games, there's more expression. It's less about the rigidity and form and muscle work and more about the expression and letting loose and getting comfortable to move in your body. So I would love to add those in again, because I'm really rigid and I'm like, here's the pose, let's do it. And Christy's like, we're flowing and we're feeling. And I think that's a great combination to have. So hopefully in the future, when I'm not so tired and constrained on time, those classes will get added into the schedule again.
And there's more people come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Fully.
Awesome. That sounds so awesome. Right now I was going to mention, like, don't add any more to your schedule. That's the old lady in me calling out.
I know. Hopefully it'll be a gradual process. Like, get rid of one day of one thing and add that to like your studio time. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that probably, adding classes probably won't happen until I'm financially able to just work the studio itself. So then that can be, because I love a good schedule, and I'd love to. Right now I only offer evening classes too, and I just have those 2 class blocks every evening, and then I teach the privates throughout the day per appointment. But I would love to be able to add morning classes too for those people who can't do evenings. And then, having the array of other things. But that'll come when my schedule allows it, because right now I am on a stripper schedule and we're on a night schedule. So this earliest the studio is open is noon. And then I usually close around 8:39 every night. So unfortunately, I do not have the ability, because my poor dog, I got to be able to go to the gym. My dog needs she's a cattle dog, so she needs activities and exhaustion. So that's usually what my mornings are spent doing, is trying to exhaust that dang dog. And I love it. I love it. She and I actually, I take her, we go at least 3 miles every day. But I'm slowly introducing her to jogging, and then I have a weight vest that I wear when we go for our walks, so that I can make it a little more intense for me. But eventually I'll introduce her to jogging. So hopefully that'll cut down our outdoor time just a little bit closer. And maybe someday I'll be able to take her to the studio if we ever end up in a new location. So that would definitely open me up more room to add more to the schedule, because then I can entertain my dog. She can be at the studio entertained, and we won't have to worry about those like 3 hours of pure play that I sneak in. Exercise for me, play for her. It's a win-win combo. But yeah, it's going to be a while before I have room to add.
For sure. Can you give any studio owners that are like just starting out any advice or anything you've learned from being open since October?
Yeah, in my short time, organization is key. And breaking down your schedule. The legal stuff is really intimidating. Tiffany's been a great help with that, because I definitely don't have a business mind. But I had my whole business like model pretty much laid out. I knew how I was going to charge. I had my website built and all that. I knew what packages I was going to offer. I had all of that already decided. Little things here and there we've changed. Like when I first opened, I had the same class at every time the same day. I have a 6 and a 7 o'clock class, but I found there are people who can only make 7 o'clock, and they wanted to take both styles of classes. So now I flip-flop them every day. So conditioning will be at 6 o'clock on Sunday and combos after, and then on Monday they flip. Stuff like that I've left open because I like to hear everyone's input. I'm really, really open to that. So that stuff's great, because obviously my studio is for my clients. So there are things I leave flexible so that I can learn what works best for them. But things like how many hours a day I work is scheduled out precisely. And I had that worked out in advance so that I didn't overwork myself per se. And things like my business model, everything, have it all organized. It will make your life so much easier. I even have my lesson plans typed out, which she doesn't need those, but just in case somebody did,
that's good.
I have them and I don't have to worry about that later. So yeah, organization is key. Have as much of it figured out before you open, because that made it a lot easier for me.
Such good advice.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry, I talk so much if y'all haven't figured that out yet.
No, this is really good.
Yeah.
Because it hopefully inspires some other people who are thinking about opening a studio. Because you're right, all of the business stuff is really, really intimidating, especially if you're just, like no business training at all. But it's possible.
Working small, just one day open the studio. I've been teaching pole for years. And I did it in my living room. I converted my living room into a pole studio, which was definitely under the table. I did not pay taxes on that. But slowly I built up my clientele. So I already had a set amount of people who I knew would follow me when I opened my business. So that took a lot of that uncertainty out. And I was really lucky getting to have that opportunity and have that connection with the community. I know a lot of people don't have that. Like my friend Alora is starting blank. So I already had that. Helped with my numbers too, with knowing what I could afford in a space, a lot of my costs and all of that. Because I didn't take out a loan or anything, and I didn't have much for savings, still don't. So like I'm slowly buying things as I piece together, but I had that reassurance that I knew I would have at least this much income every month from the people who I could guarantee were coming with me. So that was something that made it easier for me that may not be available to everyone else already having that built up clientele.
Right? It's like, okay, everyone wants me to do this thing. I'm going to do the math. Seems like I could do this thing. And then you just do it.
Yeah. So I spent building up that community of teaching pole and having people come to our other studio. And our other studio is pretty pricey, to be honest. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah. You had to have something too that's affordable when it's like that new. I feel like where people are not going to want to spend a car payment on something they don't even know that they're going to be good at. And then they do their first couple of classes and probably you're not good at it at the very beginning anyway. So
I had a group of people who were determined to keep doing pole out of the price. So I already knew opening my own studio, I got lucky and I'm able to charge less. So I already knew that the people who fight and grind to come to those classes were going to come with me. So they were a guarantee. So that was a bit easier and less scary for sure. I definitely have enough clients to, I'm not getting rich over here. I still have to work another job.
No, yeah, it's still new. It's still new.
That took a lot of the fear to help me take the leap. It took a lot of the fear out.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And it makes me feel a little bit better too, because I also didn't have any loans or anything. We just went in all willy-nilly and But yeah, you just keep doing what you love and people keep coming and and now here we are.
I'm a big supporter of education too. Having an education behind you. Christy is certified for pole, and then I have my college education and all that behind me. And that's continuous, very continuous. I am like personal trainer, certified through NASM and things like that.
We both have like multiple fitness certifications, and that's very helpful because it all kind of intertwines. It's just another modality of fitness.
That is something people care about too. Like if you're in an area where there's a lot of competition, having an education, I think, helps set you on another standard. So looking out for that, there's a lot of certification programs and things like that. And I don't want anyone thinking they have to be directly pole certified, because on technicalities, I don't have a pole certification. I am open to that. And that is something I'd like to provide for myself and future employees, is a continuous access to education. But I think that's super important, because that myself has made me a better teacher, more quality, being knowledgeable, because my training from athletic training and from coaching and from being an athlete myself has translated, I think, to making me a better and more knowledgeable coach. So I wouldn't discredit that. I would encourage looking into education first and a continued education, because that's going to put what you offer people at a higher quality.
I love that. Yes, thank you for sharing that. I agree with you, especially depending on where you are. Like certifications and things like that matter. Those that you took that extra step.
And that's what people look for, especially in where there's a lot of studios or if there's multiple. I know that's something I look for is someone's background. I want to see what they know. Is this somebody I can trust to teach me? They may not think about it that same way, but yeah, having that education behind you, I think makes a difference for you to stand out yourself. So yeah, don't discredit that and don't feel discouraged if you don't. There's lots of options to get educated, but I encourage it. It makes you yourself a better teacher and a better instructor.
Right. All of the things that you wouldn't really think about, like the safety stuff and, like all of the other stuff. Because a lot of us are just like, I want to teach. And you can be trained in everything, but yeah, the
especially
certifications are good.
Too. Like, I feel like in the aerial arts spotting, it definitely helps because
well, in our community, we have a lot of people who offer to teach things that they're not qualified to teach. And we have a lot of injury rates and things like that. I've heard tons of horror stories. I know tons of people who do not want to do pole because they've had bad experiences with other instructors. People from friends, from people I know who want to come teach and want to because they think that it sounds fun and they love it. But all of them get stumped when I'm like, that's awesome. You're welcome to come shadow. I'll introduce you to some programs you can look into. And all of them are like, wait a minute, what? There's more to teaching than just loving pole itself. And there's a lot of that in our community. I've been offered jobs for positions that I'm not qualified for. Like I was offered to teach hammock yoga, aerial yoga. First off, I know nothing about yoga. Just because I've taken yoga classes before does not mean I'm certified or I'm qualified to teach. And so I've turned down plenty of those positions where it's at other studios too, where I've been offered to teach things. And I've done silks here and there, but I'll never teach it because I honestly tie myself in a knot every single time and almost die. So just because I'm athletic and I've had experience with it doesn't mean I should be teaching anybody. So people notice that. People really do. I've had a lot of people coming to me after experiences like that.
Be like, wow, I can be in control of this move. I'm not going to. And I think part of that comes from being in Billings, Montana, where we're starting something like there's not, like she was saying, like a high competition rate of pole studios with all these certifications. So this studio is going to be the studio with all the certifications and all the right education and the background.
And I run into that everywhere in the fitness industry.
As we grow, we're supposed to be like the next Denver. So by the time we're the next Denver,
are we?
Yeah, that's what they're projecting for Billings. At least Billings is going to be Denver in 50 years. We'll be old.
We'll be old. Yeah.
By that time.
Yeah.
That's fitness industry. There's so many people pushing like influencers and things like that, pushing things without having the knowledge. I ran into that as a trainer a lot, personal training. I wanted to strangle people where like, they'd be like, yeah, I can train, but they have no idea how to help somebody else's body. It's what works for me may not work for Christy and vice versa. And I need to have the education to know how to help her and understand her body and keep it safe. So I'm super big about, before you even think about opening a business, get some education behind you, really step up the quality of what you can offer.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Helps prevent injuries and so much more.
Yeah. I think it's funny too you bring that up because it is funny how some people will be like, oh, they do pole. Let's have them teach Lyra. And like I saw them on a Lyra once.
I'm
love Lyra. Yeah, I love Lyra. I have not almost murdered myself on a Lyra because those dang silks get me tied in a knot. At least a Lyra, I can escape from it. But yeah, no, I've been asked that too plenty with the pole studio because they're like, oh, is there silks? Is there Lyra? Is there anything else? And I'm like, unfortunately, no, we're just straight pole because that is what I am qualified to teach. Maybe someday I would love to expand and have more than that, but I would need somebody qualified and I am not. So we're
passionate about it, passionate about getting that qualification and that certification.
Yeah.
I'm not at all interested in any other aerial art personally, other than pole, pole for life.
And I love my circus troupe gets asked that a lot because a lot of the artists, most of us are self-taught. There's a few of us who come from circus schools or educations like that. And we don't offer to teach. It's called Alterna Circ. But we get asked all the time to teach and people want to come in. And we have to turn them down all the time because we're not teachers, we're performers. And a lot of us are self-taught too. So that does not make us qualified to teach. And that's something we've all unanimously agreed on is that, yeah, we're not a circus school. We are a Mod Podge of mostly self-taught artists. So we don't offer those services, unfortunately.
That's so responsible. And it goes to show you how most of the the general population who's not in circus arts, they don't really understand what it is to go through all of the training or and all of that. They're just like, I want this cool fun thing. You can show me.
I would love to offer that because I definitely, especially for adults, I don't offer kids classes currently, but I would love to, but the stigma is why I don't. Because I'm sure that's a lot of people do not want their kids on a pole, but I found my friends' kids whose parents dance or do any of those love it. And it's like being on a big jungle gym and expression and athleticism, and it's keeping their kids active and healthy. But there's lots of activities for kids around here, but there's not a lot for adults. So that's part of the reason I would maybe someday be open to expanding to more, because I don't think there is enough activities for adults that's active and pro-healthy, but I want it done right.
Alternative fitness. Not everybody likes to go to the gym like we do.
Not everybody is about moving weights around. Yeah, I love it. This is my favorite time of year too, because there's so many people in there.
Many people.
I gave some mug eyes to some old guys yesterday and hogged the deadlift pit. And had to remind, I was in a group chat with a lot of my girlfriends and I was like, just a reminder, guys, I'm in here in my cute little crop top, makeup done, moving my light weights, and I'm going to hog this. There was tons of men looking for that spot. And I was like, nope, it's mine. I'm going to hog it. I did multiple, but then things I've made so many new friends these last few days at the gym. I always try to talk to everybody too. Because girl gang, first off, we got to start a girl gang.
Yeah, making that comfortable space where you don't have to be afraid of the lurking old men.
Yeah, so the gym is a scary place. I'm actively working on making it not a scary place for a lot of people. But yeah, no, that's not everyone's favorite environment as much as I try to make it. So having, there just really isn't enough for us out here. There's just not a lot of activities available. So we're here.
Thank you for providing the activities to your area and for educating them too.
I definitely hope that changes in time. That'd be awesome.
Yes. Well, you'll be training your army of pole dance.
Yes. You guys have any other questions for us?
I think we answered everything. You talked a little bit about what's to come for the future. Is there anything else in the very near future? Any workshops or anything like that coming soon?
I'm doing, which I need to post about that. Bring a buddy night. So all of my members, which I'll have them, they sign up in advance so that I know about how many, but it's a bring a buddy night. So you get to bring a friend for free. They still have to sign the waivers and all that, but they get to try out pole for free. And my members get to teach their friend pole. So I'll supervise what they're teaching them, of course, but kind of a fun. I know there's some partners, some boyfriends who don't believe how hard pole is and need to be humbled with a thigh sit. That's normally the humbler. But yeah, we're going to buddy night in February. So somebody gets to try pole for free and they get to be introduced to it by their friend.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see how that turns out for you. I started following you, your studio.
Oh yeah, we'll have to follow each other. Send me their page.
Yes, I follow them. But yeah, I'll send it to you. But yeah, that's I think the only thing we have upcoming right now.
That's awesome. That's a really cute idea.
Yeah. Buddy.
Yes.
It's a win-win. They get to have fun and I get to possibly sneak some new members in. Into the pole army.
Yes.
I love it. Networking. We'll provide all those links in the comments for the YouTube video and for the podcast. Your website link, your Instagram. Do you have a TikTok? I know TikTok's the big thing now. I think you said you were learning that now.
Yeah, I can send you my TikTok should be the same as my Instagram. I'm really bad about updating my Instagram, to be honest.
It's a lot. Cris tried to convince me to go on TikTok, and I have one, but I've abandoned it.
I always do TikTok and then take the same video and put it on Instagram and Facebook. It's all TikTok now for me. I'm like, that's it. There's fun. I got that much time.
That's but I'm forgetful. I'm really forgetful. I need to hire you as a social media manager.
It's all about recycling. Use the same thing for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
Keep it simple.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, this was so much fun. Cris, do you have any more questions? I think they answered all of mine.
Just so excited to meet you guys and be part of the journey. My question, I guess, is how long did it take you guys to really feel like you were on the ground? Because I'm sure in the beginning you felt when you were with the X pole stage and the 3 poles, like we sit down and we're like, dude, what the are we doing right now? But we're doing.
I guess. I mean, our story is a little different because we started before COVID, and then we had we were popping. And then COVID hit, and then I was like, what the hell? And now I don't have anything to base it on. So now we're popping again. So okay.
Okay.
Hopefully so maybe now is when I feel.
Okay. Yeah. So 5 years, someone told me the first year is the hardest. The first 3 years determine if you're going to stay in business. And then after 5 years, it's like the empire or the girl gang, Yeah. So that's kind of what we're thinking. We're hoping anyway.
Yes. I love how you said empire. That's how I kind of want to feel right now.
Yeah.
Empire. Well, yeah, it is long, but I mean, if you've broken even already, that's amazing. That is so amazing. I think it took us a year to do that.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, breaking even to my monthly expenses, I was like, dang. I mean, I got a sweet deal here. Tiffany takes really good care of me. She didn't make me pay for any demo costs. I paint on the side as a hobby. So I already had enough paint to cover this place. And then she went out and got the flooring.
DIY saves lives. There's a YouTube on it. Learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah. So Tiffany was great. So we didn't have barely any demo costs to get the space ready. And then things she's so straight up and honest too. So it was really easy for us to figure out I'm only on a year lease because she's a boss babe. And she was like, I get it. It's hard because all the other places I was looking at wanted 5 to 10 year leases. And I was like, oh my, I don't know if I can commit to that. I don't know. This is a pole dance studio in a conservative community. I wasn't fully sure if we're going to make it. So Tiffany was really great because I talked to her about my fears with that too. She's been with me through that whole journey and she was like, I got you. Let's do a year and feel it out. and then see where it takes us after that. And I was like, where would I be without you? So it's been a wild journey, and I've been really lucky so far.
Yes. I love that you talk about the people that believe in you too. Cause like, I know for me, like I'll believe in myself every so often, but then like on those days when I don't believe in myself, I feel like there's always somebody that comes in, they're like, wait a second, you're still on the right track.
It's
So
that
just,
community.
yeah.
In the pole industry, and not that other places didn't have it, but we just have it so strong here. Like you walk into this space and you're like, this is a pole studio, let's get it, you know.
It's great to have people like Christy and I met when we taught. We didn't know each other. We met at that last studio, and instantly we were like, okay, it's team. So we taught our own classes, but we ended up going over like what each other teach and blending it, and like making sure our classes were really cohesive, and making sure we offered a really rounded like education for people. So we didn't have to. By no means was that required of us, but it was instantly like, okay, what do you teach? What do I teach? How do we make sure our students are getting everything from us? And then, that community just grew, and meeting other business owners and other, like, I would not be able to do it without everybody who helps me out. And like, there's no actual benefit for anyone else other than just love and support. But yeah, every person who supports me every day, it's not just me. I need it. I need all the support I can get.
Right.
I love that. I'm excited to see what happens in the future for y'all. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all this with us too. Like it takes a lot of courage to like talk about all of the things.
Oh my God. Thank you for interviewing us. This was so awesome.
Thank you. I've been so excited about this all.
We were talking about it all week. We're like, okay. She's like texting me last night. She's like, tomorrow. And then today she's like, I'm heading to the studio. I'm like, me too.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was truly beautiful. Thank you for all you do in the pole community and spreading awareness out there. Because it's true. Yes, it's truly the only way we fight the stigma. If we talk about it and we make it a thing in those places where it's not a thing.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I've been so
I know a lot of other like my students will be stalking your channel very soon. You just
gained a gang of followers, just so you know.
Yeah. Thank you. And let us know if you each, because we do pole dancer interviews like separately too. So if you just want to share your personal story, favorite tricks, things like that, we're always down for a good time.
Need to grow, whatever. Yeah.
If you guys ever want the story of how I accidentally became a stripper,
that would be a fun song.
Oh yeah, that is. It was definitely not intentional. I did not know what was happening to me.
Oh my God, that is too funny.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have a part 2 where we learn the backstory of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not the one that's happened to. I'm sure.
Totally. It's that's definitely happened before.
Like I went from finding out that Montana had strip clubs to within the next 15 minutes somehow accidentally ending up in one and not knowing I was in one. It was wild. I was like, what is happening to me?
It's like the pole came to you. It was like, this is your calling in life. Embrace it.
The pole was calling me. I was like, what is happening here? Completely. Yeah. I still work with the same, like the guy who first, our secondary manager was the first one, like when I was in the club and I had no idea. I was like, where am I? What is happening? And my roommate was like, yeah. And our manager was literally like, he came in, looked at us and literally went, are you guys here to audition? And before any of us could speak, we were sucked in.
Love it.
And Flake still thinks that's the funniest thing in the world. He still thinks it's hilarious. I'm so clueless the whole time, but I was like, what? We're doing what?
And now look at you now, own studio.
Right? Flake tells the story really good, but he's such a good storyteller. I'm not great at it, but yeah, I'm always game for more collabs.
I love it. Yeah, and maybe one day we can come and visit in person too and experience the
I can't
studio.
wait. Yes, that is the dream for sure.
Welcome, and we'll come visit your studio. Oh my God, let's be studio friends.
Yeah.
I need a
Works
vacation.
out.
And we'll take a vacation. We'll come see you guys.
I need a vacation to go do more
Oh, I
polls.
love that.
Same thing. I'm all like, don't do that. But like, oh my gosh. Well, thank you again so much for sharing your story and your studio and everything about it. I guess we should sign out.
Okay, thank you so much. Guys.
Thank you so much. My name is Mændy Mac.
And I am Cris Rivers, and we are signing out.
Real Pole Dance Studio, Billings, Montana.
Oh my, yeah!
Yes,
Oh, I love it. I love it. Ooh, so flexible.